Exactly. How much is game day when it comes to your campus? You'll find out on Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Dave Schultz back with Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Birddogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege or enter promo code LockedOnCollege for a free white tech hat with any purchase. You won't take your bird dogs off, we promise you. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We have the head coach of the App State Mountaineers, Shawn Clark, and they had a wild 3-week stretch to begin the season and maybe a little bit emotionally draining. We will discuss. They're bringing in a new quarterback. App State has had not many quarterbacks. In fact, just 3 over the last 9 years. And we'll talk about breaking a new one in, maybe a little bit more explosive in the running game compared to the last 2 seasons. We talk about living up to high expectations. And Shawn Clark will answer the question, how much is game day worth? At least it was going to Boone, North Carolina. Excuse me, lovely Boone, North Carolina. Here he is. He is the head coach of the App State Mountaineers. He is Shawn Clark. Welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. We continue to preview the upcoming season, and we are honored by the head coach of App State, Shawn Clark, to hop on right now and discuss his Mountaineers. We got to go back before we look forward. You guys got off to an incredible start in 2022. In the end, looking back, do you think it was a little bit emotionally draining? Because a crazy ball game to begin with. You win on a Hail Mary later on. You have game day there. I mean, you had like a season's worth or maybe a career's worth of memories in like the first month of the season last year.
No, September was definitely a month to remember. If you look back on those games, we scored 40 points in overtime loss to North Carolina, and then you go to the number 6 ranked team in the country, beat A&M on the road, and then you have a flat tire on your airplane. You come back from college game day, win a Hail Mary. Then we have a great James Madison team comes in, and we're up 28-7 in the first half and lose in the second half. So a lot of things happened that month, but we didn't finish where we needed to finish, and that's obvious. We lost 5 games by less than a touchdown at the very end there, and but we've really flipped the page, we flipped the switch in some ways, and we've had a bunch of team meetings since then, and we're not going to look in the rearview mirror. You can't turn back the clock of time, and everything from January 1st has been moving on. So I like where we are, our football program as fall camp begins, and 2023 is here.
Having said that, did you learn anything from last year? Maybe, I'm sure you guys are and pros do. We got the 24-hour rule. We can either bask in the glow of the victory or, wallow in the loss. But 24 hours later, we put it past us. Maybe we had a few issues of getting past some of the ball games and weren't quite ready to move on. Was there a learning experience from you on how to deal with not only your emotions, but, emotions of some teenagers trying to play football the next week after either big wins or big losses?
Yeah, you just did a lot of self-reflection, and that really didn't take till March, because you think about the season was over, the transfer portal window was open, you're full speed recruiting. So by the time you really catch your breath and settle in, it was March, and it all starts with me, and I had to do a good job of reassessing the program to make sure we give each one of our players a chance to be successful. And we've made some changes throughout our program. Those changes aren't easy. Anytime you affect someone's life, people you care about, those aren't easy decisions, but I'm always going to do what I think is best for the program. And so we made some decisions to bring new coaches in. And I like where we are right now. We brought in Scott Sloan to lead our defense, Frank Ponce to be our offensive coordinator, and Matt Greenhalgh, who was our director of player performance. And I like where we are at this stage of the program. Like I said, I think Matt's been a major impact down in the weight room. You could tell all through the off season, through the summertime, and now finishing practice 3, that we've made major strides there. And that, to me, that's what gives us a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. The way our conference is lined up right now, there are no more gimme games. The margin of error is 0 in our conference. So to be able to have that extra in the fourth quarter will give our a chance a better team to be successful this year.
Yeah, App State was, let's see here, second in the conference, scoring 35 points, but you were 9th in points allowed in 27. So what are we focusing on defensively other than, not allowing more points?
Well, I think it all starts. I think it all starts in the red zone, and that's where that's where we start our team segments in fall camp, because it's such an important aspect of the football game is red zone defense. And if you can hold opponents to field goals instead of touchdowns, then your success rate is going to go up. We talk about the 4 points in there. If you can, the 4 points of the margin for 4 points, hold them to a field goal or a touchdown. And if you can hold teams to field goals, then you're going to win a lot of football games. But when you're in the red zone, give those touchdowns, then it's just hard to overcome as a team as a whole.
So one of the ways to do that, I would presume, because obviously when it's on the red zone, you guys are the ones backed up. How do you put more pressure on them? Do you become more aggressive? I don't know, can you force a holding penalty or something along those lines? Try to make the quarterback make a quicker decision? How do you put the pressure on them, literally and figuratively, trying to punch that in the end zone in the red zone? Because obviously your guys are the ones who are backed up.
Right. No, we have to show different aspects of our defense. Are you going to go zero blitz, and then you're one-on-one on the outside and you have to make a play as a corner or a safety, or you show zero blitz and you drop down to drop 8, where there's 8 defenders and down there in the red zone, and that area gets so much tighter as you get closer to the red zone, closer to the goal line. So that's something we did a study on. Coach Sloan and the staff did an off-season study of how we can improve. And we have a great plan. I know that because the offense is facing it right now. They've been very successful through 3 days in the red zone. And once we can master that plan, and we were able to meet with our team, with our players 2 hours a week in the summertime. So we had a 6-day install of red zone defense, and now we're on day 4. So we went 1 through 6 in the first session of summer school, 1 through 6 again, the second session of summer school. Now we're on 1 through 6 in the first 6 days of fall camp. So there's no relearning or reteaching. It's really just defining what we do and getting really good at what we do. Because it really doesn't matter what coaches know; it's what our players know and what they can execute.
We're talking to Shawn Clark, head coach of the App State Mountaineers. All right, I love that aspect because in one side, right, you don't have to worry about the 40-yard bomb, so you don't have to get back. At the same time, if you're inside the red zone, you can't there's not enough room to, if you do sort of fake a blitz and be able to get back and cover with the safety. So it does give the opportunity to be more aggressive. And, I'm one of those guys, coach, especially at the end of the half, right? Pass interference is not the worst of all penalties when it's in college football. I really believe that. It needs to be appropriate, but I'd rather have a pass interference call, especially towards the end of the half. Let them see if they want to try a play on fourth, with 4 seconds to go, let them have it. They can come up with nothing. I'm more aggressive defensively the closer it is towards the half and at the end of the ballgame.
No, you have to be, and that's we call it the middle 8, the last 4 minutes of the second half, and the first 4 of the last 4 of the first half, and the first 4 of the second half. But we have to play aggressive down there. That's one thing that has been a big point of emphasis of this fall camp. I didn't think we played aggressive enough last year. We were playing off coverage too much, and now if you play aggressive, 1 or 2 things are going to happen. You'll get an interception. All right, or you're going to get a pick 6. So, and that's just the way the cards fall sometimes. So, I think this year you see a more aggressive style in our defense as we go forward.
Okay, let's take a timeout. When we come back, Shawn Clark will talk about his new quarterbacks and who they are and what their strengths are and what they bring to the team this year. Let me tell you a little bit about FanDuel. Football season is about to kick off. Ain't that the truth? And FanDuel is giving you a chance to win all season long. Because right now, when you bet on a Super Bowl winner, you get bonus bets back every time they win in the regular season. Just pick any team to win the Super Bowl, and you'll get bonus bets back for every victory. You can use your bonus bets on spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and start earning bonus bets with America's #1 sportsbook. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. All right, it is Dave Schultz back with more of Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's head back to the discussion with the App State head coach, Shawn Clark, talking about breaking in a new quarterback for the 2023 season. Talking to Shawn Clark, Locked On Sunbelt, head coach of the App State Mountaineers. All right, so App State has been blessed with quarterbacks that have played multiple years. Some feel like they have retired professionally playing quarterback from App State. But you've only had 3 quarterbacks in the last 9 years. And I keep on using the example. The Raging Cajuns played 3 quarterbacks last year. How do you go about breaking in a new quarterback before we ask, who
Well,
it's going to be?
no, we've been very fortunate over the last 9 years to have three quarterbacks that have brought a lot of success here. And this is, going to some new territory, bringing a new quarterback for this year. But on the flip side of things, that can be a good thing as well. We had Ryan Berger, who was a mid-year enrollee. He came in a year and a half ago. He knows our offense. Coach Ponce actually recruited him out of high school before he went to the University of Miami. So there's some familiarity there. We had Joey Aguilar, a junior college kid from California, that's done an exceptional job here, and Joey and Mason McHugh, who played at IMG Academy in Florida. Those three have been taking the bulk of the reps, and each one of those brings a different dynamic to our offense. They all can run the football. And when Chase was here, that he gets you a first down, and when those guys really pull the ball down and take off running, they can score touchdowns. And whenever you have the quarterback run game and that's part of your arsenal of your offense, then there has to be someone assigned the quarterback to defend him. So
Right.
That's been a big point through the first days of fall camp, quarterback runs. So I like where we are. We have a lot more room for improvement, but if they continue to impress us as we go forward, continue to do a great job in fall camp, it's going to be a hard decision for us come that first week of September. But competition is what we need, and competition that breeds success. And those guys are really bad on the football field. They're really great friends off the field. But I like where we are right now as a quarterback from the quarterback aspect.
As a coach, whether you let the media or idiots like me know, when do you like to have that decision? When internally is that decision made?
I'd like to have that made after spring practice, but that
Right.
wasn't the case. And each one did something different that caught our eye. And to be fair to all three players, we brought the quarterbacks in and talked to them about what we expect from you. And this is what's going to be our starting quarterback: one who can run our offense, who can move the ball down the field, no turnovers, and score touchdowns in the red zone. And if you can do those four things, then you have a chance to win a lot of football games. But really, we told our quarterbacks, you don't have to win the football game. Play within the system, do what you do best, and end every possession with a kick. Either that's a punt, or that's a field goal, or that's an extra point. If we can do those three things, then we'll have a great chance to be successful.
We're talking to Shawn Clark, head coach of the App State Mountaineers on Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Is David Hernandez still part of the team? He kind of went to school there and ended up being a walk-on. Now, no one, and he's not expecting to play, but I could say the same thing about, your guy Chase Bryce, who I still haven't forgiven for coming off the bench when Trevor Lawrence gets hurt and beats my Syracuse Orange. And he said he wasn't even practicing that week. He was the scout. He wasn't even the scout quarterback that week. As you can see, I'm still not over it. But is David Hernandez still part of the program? I think that's great.
He is. And David's a big part of our program, and I'm glad you brought his name up because he's a kid that does everything right. He's on, and he knows his role.
Sure.
But in the same sense, it is a competition. So today's practice 4, he's going to get more reps today in practice. He's going to get some team reps as we start practice today. But we're going to play the best quarterback. Whether it's David Hernandez, it's Joey Aguilar, Mason McHugh, or Ryan Berger, whoever gives our team the best chance to succeed, the best chance to win, they're going to play. So that's the one thing we do a great job here at App State. Everything is earned, nothing's given.
At the same time, though, someone's got to be ready if something goes wrong.
Someone has to be ready.
From a concussion to tweak ankle, right? I mean, very rarely does one quarterback play every snap of every game. It just doesn't happen these days in either college or pro football.
No, someone be ready. We'll be calling you, Dave, to come be your quarterback in week 5.
No. I'd be very good at downing. I can do. You know what? I'm not even sure I could do victory formation. I would fumble that away. I would pull a Joe Pisarcik on you, Coach. That would be bad.
I have a lot more faith. I have a lot more faith in you than you do yourself. All right, that's
you're absolutely right. There's no doubt about that. He is Shawn Clark, head coach of App State on Locked On Sunbelt, along with those experienced quarterbacks at App State. Has always had good running backs. Who is in the backfield this year for the Mountaineers?
We're very deep at that position, and I think it starts with Nate Noel, who people have kind of forgot about. And this is a great conference, a lot of great running backs in our conference. But in 2021, Nate Noel was an first team all conference player, rushed for 1,000 yards. And he had some injuries in 22 that I think he only played 6.5, 7 games and had 651 yards of rushing. But you look at that room with Amani Marshall and the Roberts and Anderson Castle, and we have a lot of other players in that room who can really take our offense to another level. And we're going to play some of our running backs this year because you have to win the football to win championships. And if we can do that and impose our will on opposing teams run the football, then that just gives us so much better chance. If you have to throw the ball 100 times, you're not going to a football game. So we're always going to have a deep running back room and be running back by committee. But whoever has the hot hand in the fourth quarter, that's who we'll go with.
It is amazing. As much as football has changed from a running game to a passing game, it's still basically, can you run the football and can you get to the quarterback? So that's basically football. If you can do one of those two things or both, you're going to be a winning team.
No, football is a really simple game. We've overcomplicated in the last 100 years, but football was invented by PE teachers for PE. Right. So it's really simple. It's throwing, catching, and tackling. If you can do those three things, then you have a chance to win.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back to wrap things up with Shawn Clark, he talks about living up to those high expectations that App State has annually and exactly how much the study revealed that game day was worth when it went to lovely Boone, North Carolina for last year's Troy game, coming off the upset of Texas A&M. Meanwhile, let me tell you a little bit about Birddogs. I love my Birddogs. They make you look great. A Birddog stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. Birddog shorts do exactly the same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better. They fit way better than regular shorts that are made of a stiff, restricting cotton. Birddogs fixed this issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki, but stretches so you can get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Birddogs uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege or enter promo code LockedOnCollege for a free white tech hat with your order, just like this. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnCollege or promo code LockedOnCollege for a free white tech hat. You won't take your Birddogs off, we promise you. All right, I waited to do this to see how it looks. Looks pretty good. All right, and this would help a lot during the heat down here in Louisiana. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. Let's wrap things up with the head coach of App State, Shawn Clark, talks about living up to those high expectations and how much a study revealed that game day was worth to the university. Shawn Clark, Locked On Sunbelt. He is Shawn Clark, head coach of the App State Mountaineers. All right, so App State always has high expectations, and the East got dramatically, if not exponentially, more difficult with the additions of Marshall and JMU winning the division last year. Everyone always, App State is used to championships. You guys have built the expectations. You've been a big part of that. How do you continually try to live up to those expectations? Sometimes they're not easy to live up to.
No, there's a lot of expectations here at App State. Our expectations are win championships and bowl games. But for the last 8 years, we've been the hunted, and we've had a target on our backs for the last 8 years. And now the roles are reversed. No one's talking about us right now, and we have to go out and we're the hunter in our conference right now. And I like where we are. We have I don't want to say a young football team. We have a lot of new faces. We have our 32 signees, 17 were transfers. And people are really learning our culture right now. But I do believe we have 22 more practices, I believe, and to get ready for our first game versus a really good Gardner-Webb football team. So I like where we are. No one's talking about us, and that's right. We deserve that. We didn't win enough games last year to put ourselves in contention, as the naysayers say, as far as conference championships. But I think when the season ends, we do what we're supposed to do, we'll be right in the hunt of things.
Folks, don't let him fool you. All right, they were picked second in the division behind JMU and ahead of Coastal Carolina. I mean, talk about disrespect. Grayson McCall, three-time Sun Belt Player of the Year, with the new coach finishing predicted to finish third. Let's talk about that culture thing, because that's the big thing. You got GJ Kinney trying to do it over in Texas State. What is the culture? How do you do that? And you presume it's all the same, but it's different everywhere. How do you go about building the culture or trying to improve it? I mean, you've been there a long time. It's gone from one guy, Scott Satterfield, Eli Drinkwitz, down to Shawn Clark.
Well, I think it goes back to 1989 when Jerry Moore came here as the head football coach, and that's right when Sparky Woods had left, and a lot of guys had exited the program and followed Sparky to South Carolina, and you have Coach Moore. He has an unbelievable run here, and it was 3 national championships, over 20 conference championships, and another former player, Scott Satterfield, takes over the program, and he had a great run there, and then Eli Drinkwitz comes in for a cup of coffee before he goes to Missouri. And then I was fortunate to be the head football coach. So if you go back to since 1989, the culture of the program, the same rules and values have been there since '89. It's really about getting the right kind of people. And everyone has great facilities. Everyone has the same size football field. But if you get the right kind of people in your building, the people who love each other, the people who want to come and get a world-class degree and a chance to play for championships, blue-collar, lunch pail kind of guys, that's what we are. And when we bring our kids on recruiting visits, we let our current players, talk to them, and we ask them, do these kids fit the culture? They fit the locker room? If they say no, then we don't sign those kids because we really trust our players. We talk about a player-led program. That's what it's about. You come in on a Saturday morning or Sunday morning in the off season before you go to church, and you have kids out on the jugs machine, and the quarterback's out throwing to your receivers, and O-line, D-line doing extra stuff it's not mandatory. I think that's when you know you have the right kind of people in your program, the right kind of people in your building.
Yeah, it is. It's not easy. It's North Carolina, but obviously you're surrounded by the ACC. SEC is not too far away either. And it's not Raleigh or Durham or Chapel Hill, right? It is your small town. You got to have a feel for a kid. I talked to some players who kind of like that. They kind of got away from a big city, and they enjoy what is cliche is the wrong word, but a typical small college town that is, kind of dominated by that one thing.
No, we have 7 Division I football teams in our state, and then we have the SEC. We border the SEC, and we talk all the time. If you wanted that city life, if you want the bar scene, then this is not the place for you. But if you want to come in and really hone your skills and become the best version of yourself and have a chance to play at the next level, then we can do that here for you at App State. It's not a secret that we year in and year out, we have NFL draft picks that come through Boone. And it's a developmental program. We have a great plan for our signees, our kids on our football roster that if your goals and dreams or aspirations to get to the next level, we can do that here in Boone. And we have a great town, a great community that really embraces our players, embraces our program. We've sold out every single home game. So what other thing what do you want to play in? Right. So this is the second year in a row we've sold out all of our season tickets. We plan on another season, another single season attendance record here for the Sun Belt. So the Sun Belt is good right now. It's one of the best conferences in the country. I don't care if you say Group of 5, non-autonomy, Power 5. The Sun Belt there is in the mix.
Yeah, it is. We joke about it, but I believe the name of the town is officially Lovely Boone, North Carolina. I think you have to. I think it's mandatory, or else you get fined if you don't put the word "lovely" there, because it just seems fantastic. And watching all the kids spill out into Main Street or whatever road that was when you guys took down A&M. It's got to be seeing something like that go viral has to make people want to go there. Do you use that in your video to try and recruit kids?
Without question, if you think about this, football matters to any university, but it matters at App State. You go to A&M and have at the time the number 6 ranked team in the country, a major win for our program, one of the biggest wins since Michigan. And then we have, they announced college game days coming to Boone, North Carolina, right. And then you sit there and we did a study. We as a university, that was almost a $550 million free advertisement for Boone, North Carolina, for our athletic department, for a football team. And it was a 25% increase in applications for our university.
There you go.
So you tell me that football don't matter in college athletics, and how we do it, and how Doug Gillen, our athletic director, and Chancellor Everett, how they run this university, then with all the realignment and stuff going on right now, there's one thing about App State. We have passionate fan bases. It's going to be sold out. Every single game is going to be sold out. They love our football program, and we love them as well. So it's a great day to be a Mountaineer.
Yeah, on a larger scale, I can in one breath I can say that Nick Saban is overpaid for being a football coach, and I can say he's underpaid because attendees, enrollees have gone up 50% since he's gotten there. And who knew this? Alabama has more people from out of state than they do in state, and that costs more money. So they are liking that, and obviously $550 million. It feels like beating A&M and hosting Game Day. You guys won the Mega Millions.
Well, you think about it, it's a 3-hour commercial for the towns, a 3-hour commercial for the university that puts our program on a national stage where the whole world can see. It's just not the United States of America. It's the whole world saw our university, our program for 3 hours.
You got to get back there this year somehow. He is
No
Shawn
pressure.
Clark. Yeah, no pressure, coach. He is Shawn Clark, head coach of the App State Mountaineers. Really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and best of luck this season.
Dave, thanks for having me on. Look forward to seeing you in lovely Boone, North Carolina.